Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Let's make a shirt together. This is my first time and I came up with this pattern using triangles and rectangles, so get your supplies. I'm using a ruler, a protractor, tape measure, and a pencil, and I got some tissue paper from the Dollar Tree to draw the pattern on, so get those items together and meet me at the start. Alright, so I'm starting off with my ruler and pencil and the tissue paper. I'm marking off 1/2 inch on each side of the point that I'm working on, and that's just to shave it off because we're not going to use that little piece as part of our pattern. Alright, now we can draw a line from point to point that we just made, and that triangle can get cut off because it's not a part of our pattern. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to measure your top of bust to your under bust and see how many inches that is. For me, it's 6 inches. I took an inch off because of the amount of coverage I wanted, and then I added an inch back for the seam allowance. I was using 1/2 an inch seam allowance, so measure down from the line we just made, 6 inches. Alright, so here I'm measuring from the line that we first drew down 7 inches on each side. And for me, that line measures up with the 5 inches that I want for my underbust area. So I'm going to place a dot on that point, and I'm going to use a ruler, draw from point to point, and then I'm going to do another line from point to point at an inch down, which is our seam allowance. Alright, so here I'm measuring the seam allowance line, and after we have that line, we're going to get our protractor, and then I'm going to shave off 2 inches on each side, but I want to get the perpendicular measurement, so that's what the protractor is for. And we're going to measure up to whatever point that is, and we're going to draw a line, and that part is going to get cut off. It's not going to be a part of our pattern. All right, so we have the cup measured, and for the rest of the pattern, it's all rectangles. The shoulder straps are 15 inches long, 1 inch wide. For the 12 ties on the side, they are 7 inches long, 1 inch wide. For the waistband, it's 13 inches long, 2 inches wide. For the front body, we're doing 13 inches wide, 13 inches long, 5.5 inch wide from myself. It can be whatever measurement for you. Both of them can be whatever measurement for you. And for me, the back, I'm doing 13 inches wide length by 7 inches wide. And that all includes the 1/2 inch seam allowance for everything. Alright, so these are my pattern pieces cut out, and we can get started. Okay, so we're going to start by sewing our cups together. 1/2 inch seam allowance, right sides facing. Let's get started. Also, what you want to do is make sure you pin at each end and then find the center point of your bodice and make sure that it matches up to the center point of your cups so that you don't have one that is too wonky to one side. So just keep that in mind when you're pinning the cups to the bodice. Alright, so now we're just going to sew the cups to the bodice with our 1/2 inch seam allowance. Now we're going to sew our waistbands to the front and our waistband to the back, keeping in mind our 1/2 inch seam allowance. So this is how the waistband looks sewn to the front, and now we're going to do the back. Alright, so we're gonna do our straps, and for them we're doing a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I'm also using a fabric turner to turn them right side out when I'm done. So that's what we're doing for all of them, and let's get started. For the straps on the side, I'm sewing a 1/4 inch at the top of it as well as down one end, and that's just the part that's going to be on the outside that we're seeing, not sewn onto the body of the shirt. So I'm going to start off sewing that little part, and then I'm going to pivot and do 1/4 inch seam allowance down the length. Now I have my fabric turner, and I'm just going to turn it right side out for all the straps, but I'm just showing you one. If you don't have a fabric turner, it's not really that necessary. You would just, instead of sewing right sides together, when you're doing your straps, you would sew the wrong sides together with your seam allowances in mind. I'm also going to iron all the straps when I'm done, just to make them flatter and more crisp looking. Alright, so you should have all your straps sewn and put to the side. And now we're going to work on the front again. We're going to work around the neckline. So with our 1/2 inch seam allowance, we're going to press in place just to make it neater, and then we're going to sew. Okay, so next we're going to do the back of the shirt. We're going to sew the 1/2 inch seam allowance at the top that we haven't done yet, and we're going to do the waistband portion, that 1/2 inch seam allowance, and we're going to do the front part again. We're going to do the 1/2 inch seam allowance on the waistband there. So that's where we are now. Alright, so now we're going to do the front of the shirt again, and we're going to now sew down the sides. So with our 1/2 inch seam allowance, iron those in place, and then we're going to sew down the sides. Alright, so now you should have front and back side seams all sewn. The waistband seams should all be sewn. And now all that's left is for us to put our straps on. For the straps, we're going to put in, it's 12 straps. We're putting one at the top of the cup. Then we're going down to where the cup and the bodice meet, and we're putting a strap there. And then we're going to put one right above the waistband. So right where the waistband meets the bodice, that's where we're going to put another strap. Alright, and then we're going to measure down whatever measurement is between the top of the cup strap and the bottom of the cup strap. We're going to measure that on the back and then put that second strap at that measurement on the back. Alright, so I'm starting with my shoulder straps, and for the top I'm going to fold over that 1/2 inch seam allowance, and then I'm going to do a 1/2 inch seam allowance on the straps, and I'm going to sew them in place on the front and the back. I also measured out 4 inches in from each side of the back, and that's where I'm putting the strap for myself in the back. So 4 inches from the edge is where I'm putting my straps in the back. Alright, so if you have all your straps sewn, the shirt is done, and we can try it on and see how we like it. Alright, this is our finished product. I have it paired with a pair of shorts, and then I have it a little bit dressier with a skirt. So I feel like it can be dressed up or dressed down depending on your mood. I hope you like this shirt. I hope you like the tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.